New York is the nation's fourth most populous state, with over 45 gigawatts of generation capacity, a peak demand of between 30 and 34 gigawatts, and annual carbon emissions from the electricity sector of 22 million tons, equivalent to 430 pounds per megawatt hour. The state has been at the forefront of the nation's efforts in tackling climate change, notably having passed the landmark initiative, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, known as the Climate Act or the CLCPA in 2019. The CLCPA commits the state to 70% zero emission electricity by 2030, rising to 100% by 2040. It also targets a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions to at least 85% below 1990 levels by 2050. The CLCPA is one of the most aggressive clean energy and climate agendas in the country and codifies a number of ambitious electric sector targets into law. For instance, 6 gigawatts of solar energy must be installed to serve New Yorkers by 2025, as well as 9 gigawatts of offshore wind by 2035. This reduces uncertainty for investors, placing the weight of state government in supporting electrification of the heating and transportation sectors, and demand for renewable power through its agencies and various mechanisms underway. Alongside a positive policy environment at the state level, the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, commits $370 billion towards supply and demand side incentives, including enhanced tax credits for renewable and storage projects. These will remove the ambiguity previously facing projects in the state and create more certainty for specific cases such as standalone storage and later commissioning offshore wind assets. Our modeling indicates the combination of the CLCPA and incentives under the IRA will push electricity generation in the state to undergo a fundamental transition from predominantly gas-fired generation today to a market dominated by offshore wind and solar in the future, which you can see in the accompanying charts. The IRA also contains provisions to support supply chains and manufacturing facilities for strategic industries like offshore wind. Projects that utilize American manufactured components and supply chains can benefit from multipliers and adders on tax credits, in some cases equal to up to 40% of CapEx where these boxes are checked. Solar should be a particular area of focus for investors. New York is on track to exceed the CLCPA target of 6 gigawatts of distributed solar by 2025, and the new incentives unveiled as part of the Inflation Reduction Act allow for investment capital to go even further in accelerating progress towards 10 gigawatts of solar by 2030. This is likely to strengthen the case for utility-scale battery storage, particularly in the southern zones of the market, where high load and transmission capacity constraints reinforce the need for higher amounts of grid flexibility.